This is the Hoka Bondi 8, and this might be the worst shoe that I've ever owned. And in this video, I'm going to talk about why and why I bought the shoe. So when the reviews for this shoe came out, I guess it would have been about 3 years ago now, they were all awful. And for some reason, I still thought it'd be a good idea to buy this shoe because at the time, my two favorite shoes were the Hoka Rincon 3 and the Hoka Mach 5. And because of that, I thought there's no way this shoe can be that bad. Like, Hoka's specialty is literally making like mushy plush foams that feel really nice and responsive. So I thought, well, given my two favorite shoes at the moment are a Hoka shoe, why not go with the Hoka recovery shoe? I watched a bunch of reviews for it. Most of the reviews, if not all of them, were that the shoe was absolutely awful. But I ignored it and bought the shoe anyway. And the reality is that every review was right and probably not even as harsh on the shoe as it should have been. Right when I got the shoe, I felt that it was extremely heavy, which doesn't make sense because Hoka shoes are, especially back then, were never heavy. That was always the one thing Hoka did well, was make a lightweight shoe with really nice mushy foam. There was always a good stack height with a Hoka shoe, but they were always light. They were always able to make it so that this shoe that appeared bulky was always light and didn't feel bulky on the foot. Right away, that is not what this shoe is. It feels heavy. It feels very like just dense, and you put it on your foot and that is basically exactly how it feels. There's not a whole lot to say on the shoe other than it doesn't work because of a few really key reasons. The main reason is honestly the foam. It's a ginormous stack height, which can be okay, but the problem is that the foam itself is so dense and always has been. It's not like this, there was no break-in period. I thought maybe I could break this shoe in. I have about 200 plus kilometers on this shoe now. I thought I'd break it in, but it just never happened. Like, the foam is just so dense that the only way that I can describe it is like it feels like you're running with like a brick under your foot. And the whole purpose of the shoe is to be a recovery shoe, but it does none of that properly. It is extremely heavy, extremely uncomfortable. I feel like aside from it being fairly stable because it's so wide, it basically does the exact opposite of what a recovery shoe should do. You want maybe not necessarily lightweight for a recovery, but you definitely want the foam to be really plush, and if anything, you want it to help push you forward a little bit because, you know, when you're recovering, you're not necessarily running with, you know, intent to go fast, so you want a little bit of help and you want the shoe to hopefully guide you there. This does basically none of that at all. Not only is it super dense, like I said, it's like there's a brick, as like the foam feels like brick. There's no like rocker technology whatsoever. Like, I know Saucony shoes are like really good about that. Like, Saucony can have really like firm foams, but because of the nature of the way the shoe is designed, it can really propel you forward, which really helps. This doesn't have that. So it's like you're just running like super flat footed and it's just like really dense and heavy. And if anything, you know, yes, it will slow you down, but when I would run in this shoe, it would actually cause me to have like not only ankle pain, but knee pain, like leg soreness and fatigueness. Like, I'm literally, I wanted this shoe because it's advertised as a recovery shoe. So you want to run in a shoe that aids with recovery. And this just literally does the opposite. Like, I brought this out recently after a few years thinking maybe I was too harsh on it and I wanted to see if it could work, and I've run in it twice since I brought it out and I remember exactly why I just do not like it at all. I've already been dealing with some mild, like a mild niggle in my right knee, and this made it worse like right away. So I was like, okay, I've run in it twice. My goal was to bring it out for the winter, and I still might use it occasionally in the winter because yeah, it's kind of wide and it's high off the ground. So if there's a lot of snow or slush, it could be beneficial there in the sense of kind of almost being like a snowshoe. It's not going to keep your feet necessarily wet, but I could see it kind of working in that situation. Again, not what it's intended for, and I'm only going to use it for complete junk miles if I do continue to use it, which at this point, I don't know if I'm going to. So I think, honestly, yeah, to summarize this shoe, it's just such a weird release from Hoka at the time. I know this shoe's 3 years old, and I know that they're probably on like the Bondi 9 or 10 by now. I don't even know, to be honest, but ever since this shoe, like the Bondi's just kind of been off my radar, so maybe the new shoes are a lot better, but I don't know. It's funny because, yeah, during that 2023 and 2022 year, I guess the Rincon and the Mach 5 were actually late releases in 22 and 21, but that era of Hoka was just like these super lightweight, really plush shoes that did have a lot of foam, like a lot of stack height to them, and they were just so good. And then I thought, there's no way, like, how could this not be the perfect kind of combination to throw in the mix with those shoes? And it was just not the case at all. It literally is the opposite of the Mach 5 and the Rincon 3 in literally every single way. The Rincon 3 to me was a shoe that I would actually use as recovery because At fast paces, it kind of allowed you to run fast, but at slow paces, that foam almost like softened, and it would be great for recovery. You'd think that a company that would make the Rincon so good, like I love the Rincon. I think the Rincon series, that the Rincon 2 and 3 are like amazing shoes, genuinely amazing, and for the price, they're incredible. So it's just funny that this would have been released kind of in that same era. I'm sure Hoka has since made, a better Bondi shoe. I'm not entirely sure, but this to me, as of all the shoes I've owned, I don't know how many it is by now, probably like, I don't know, maybe 50. This is by far the biggest standout as just the worst shoe that I've owned. Maybe there's worse shoes on the market, but this one stands to me as being the absolute worst shoe that I've owned. And every time I try to give it a chance, it reminds me why it is just the opposite of what it is advertised in every single way. Like, the only thing that I could see this shoe being useful for is if you purposely wanted to wear the most heavy, uncomfortable, worst shoe possible to do like a training run, because then when you put on literally any other shoe, it's going to feel good. But with that, you're risking stuff like injury because the shoe is so heavy and just doesn't aid proper running form, at least for me. Like, just the nature of the shoe, the way it's designed, you have to kind of change your form a little bit. And it's just with that foam feeling like a brick, the overall shoe feels like a brick. It's just doing the opposite of what you want it to do. It's putting more strain on your joints than you want. And I think this is one of those funny things because it really, amongst so many great modern shoes over the last couple of years, this is the big standout as just kind of an odd one that just really doesn't work. But yeah, with that being said, I don't know if I'm really going to ever run in this shoe again. I've tried so many times consistently for years because I really like to push my shoes to their limits. I really like to run in them and get my money's worth out of them, and this is the one shoe that I have tried so many times. It has continued to prove to me that it's just not a shoe for me at all, like not even a little bit. So anyway, yeah, this video I guess doesn't necessarily have a point other than to talk about the worst shoe that I've ever owned and how I'm happy that sometimes shoes like this can exist, because then at least companies can learn to never make them again. But anyway, with all that being said, if you guys enjoy running videos, enjoy running content, please feel free to check out my channel and like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.